I'm Greg Grugan, and welcome to What's Your Point? Our aim is to be Houston's most relevant, high-energy exchange of political opinion and insight. So far, it's working because our panelists call it like they see it. Let's meet them. Leading us off, Republican strategist Jessica Colon. Up next, Marcus Davis, host of Sunday Morning Live. In the 3 spot, well-known educator and Latino activist Tony Diaz. Batting cleanup today, conservative Bob Price, associate editor at Breitbart, Texas. Back again, attorney and feisty progressive commentator Nyanza Moore. And closing us out, legendary investigative reporter turned media consultant Wayne Dolcefino. Okay, let's get it on. What was once a long shot, so long no one would even lay odds, has now become an American reality. All Republican efforts to derail Donald Trump have been obliterated. I like that word. And so the guy who threatens to make Mexico build its own wall, who openly boasted about his penis size, who mocked a special needs journalist, and turned the menstrual cycle into a counterattack, will top the GOP ticket. In the wake of Indiana, it appears obnoxious truly is the new charisma. With that said, panel, what is your point?
Wow, Greg, I think you just made your point.
Really?
All facts.
Wow.
All facts.
All facts.
Wow.
Sort of. In terms of Mexico and the wall, Vicente Fox did apologize and invited Mr. Trump to come down and see him. So I guess.
Well, that's why he's
Right?
expanding already.
Okay.
I like that Trump kept it classy till the very end. So he circulates a picture of Ted Cruz's father near Kennedy's assassin, implying, I guess, that Cubans killed Kennedy. Now, that's classy. I think right now he's probably calling Monica Lewinsky to work for him. So when Hillary plays the female card, he's got an answer.
Look, I hate to say this, but we do live in a place where people vote. And the people want Donald Trump to be the Republican nominee. And I'm sorry, but it is what it is. They may be wrong, but that's who they want.
10 million votes from the GOP. I mean, they have picked their person.
Yep.
Thank God they picked Trump. Thank you.
Well, thank God we have Hillary Clinton to run against.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I guess that's the only thing you can say because Hillary's going to go all the way down.
One of the
You know
number
it.
one
Hold on.
lessons,
Go
one of the
ahead.
number one lessons in politics is to learn how to recalibrate. And we are in a classic recalibration stage right now, getting ready for Donald Trump to be the nominee. Who would have thought the Republicans would have tied it up before the Democrats?
Listen,
This is a huge recalibration.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
sorry. When you get squashed by Donald Trump, the entire GOP establishment gets. It's not a recalibration.
Implosion.
It's a do-over.
And it's a do-over. You got to start all over. Listen, the GOP has to realize that they are suffering from the things that they put in place. The way they did race baiting, the way they did misogynistic, sexism, the way they did all these things. Donald Trump took it. He rolled it up, he put it in reality TV, and he fed it on a spoon to the GOP.
Real quick, Bob.
Well, we have our candidate now, and Hillary, if she becomes the nominee, if something happens to those super delegates that you guys are so proud of, and they don't go her way, it's a dead heat without those. But
She's got 500.
Bring it on, brother. Bring it on.
Can he win? Can he win?
Can Bernie Sanders win?
Oh, yeah, she's already on our side. Thank you for saying she's already forgotten about Trump.
Well, I think to Bob's point, if the super delegates, if it wasn't such a heavy-handed process in the Democrat Party, Bernie Sanders is absolutely dead heat tied with
I'm
Hillary
sorry.
Clinton.
I think that she's been drinking the GOP Kool-Aid because, I'm sorry, Hillary is so far, she has over 540,
Because of the super delegates.
544 committed. He's got 44. What's he
Right.
going to do? Where's
That's
he
the
going?
point.
The numbers will never add up.
Hold on. We'll get to the Democrats.
I know a little.
Making this all possible is Ted Cruz's decision to drop out. So what is his future? What is the future for the junior United States Senator from Texas?
So I got a call from Ted Cruz last night asking him to be the VP candidate for his. Oh, I'm sorry, he dropped out.
That's all right.
Never mind. Look, what the future of Ted Cruz should be decidedly different from the past of Ted Cruz. Similar to the GOP, he should recognize the error of his ways. I understand he's a constitutionalist, but he's also an isolationist, right? He likes to isolate himself from the rest of the people without getting work done.
Plus-
and he should pay attention to that.
First, I want to say that it was a class act. What Senator Cruz did certainly took many people.
Hold on,
and
hold on.
to
Quit
not
it?
drag- to not drag the race out further
Being a
so that we
quitter?
can consolidate and unite. quicker than Democrats as we head into our convention. But second, I want to say during his concession speech, he made no secret he had over 1 million contributors. He had over 300,000 volunteers on the ground. He's going to come out with a PAC, with an organization. It's going to be out there endorsing candidates, and he's going to continue to rise.
Tony.
Are you
Let me
kidding?
tell you what, the moniker, the nickname, Lying Ted, will never go away. I'm sure right now there are
Ever.
people in his party right now counting the days to run against him, and that name will always
I never
be
knew that he lied out.
You know, there's a lot of rumors going around about the senator right now. We'll see what he does. It's everything from he may resign from the Senate to he'll have a primary opponent next time to he will be the new spokesperson for the conservative movement all across the country because he's the only survivor that was part of the conservative movement. So we'll see where he goes.
No, he's going to have great work for
I think where he's going to go is to Fox. You can guarantee he's going to have a show on Fox coming up. But listen, this is the detriment of our nation, right? The GOP is ready to line up behind someone that they decided that they did not want in the first place. And Ted Cruz being on the sideline quitting on the American people is disgusting.
Okay, Jeff.
You know, Marcus,
Disgusting.
Marcus, you always talk about let the voters speak, let the voters say what they want.
His
And they
voters,
did, and now
his
we have
voters
Donald
voted
Trump.
for him, and he should have carried it all the way to the convention. He let them down by deciding to tuck tail
I
and
disagree.
hide.
I
Leave it there for a second. Speaking of guys who supposedly have no chance, Bernie Sanders won in Indiana, says he's going to continue to fight on. Can you blame him?
No.
No, and I'll tell you what, if all these primaries were open primaries, Hillary would be losing right now. Only places she has really won big is in the South, where they're not going to win in November. So to be fair, we should look at those states that could
Is
go
New
up
York
and
in the
down.
South? Is New York in the South?
You know-
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, go
So
ahead.
I guess so. Since we're going to win the election
Well, she
anyway,
did win Southern New York.
My thought is this: if she's already got over 500 superdelegates committed, he's got 44. Is he going to try to convert all those other delegates? The numbers will, even if he wins another state, he has to win everything else to get the nod.
hopefully he
So
won't.
it's not going to happen.
Here's a question. Does Bernie staying in the race hurt Hillary, or does it keep her in fighting shape
It
for the
helps.
fall?
He changes
doesn't
the
affect her.
because guess what's going to happen? Trump is going to come in to the left of Hillary on some issues, and it's going to be contentious. Hillary's got to stop saying that she gets mad when Bernie raises his voice because it's going to get really ugly. So she needs all this sparring now before she gets in with this ugly, mean bully that she's going to have to fight in the ditches with.
Okay.
Bernie should keep rolling. It's making Hillary spend primary money. She's still having to spend her campaign money on the primary races that she can't turn
I'm
down.
She got
sorry, you
money.
guys are so.
That's
That is
not why.
not.
That's not why Bernie should keep running. Bernie should keep running because the American people, the millions
Exactly.
of people that voted for him, want him to keep running. Unlike John Kasich, who I'm disappointed in, unlike Ted Cruz, Bernie has tightened up his bootstraps, tightened up his belt, held his you-know-what, and decided
He
to move
outran
forward.
Cruz.
Okay, got to get this in, you guys. Fact. Democratic office holders across the country are thrilled that Trump won. What do GOP office holders do to get in position to hold office?
Convert to democracy. Be a Democrat tomorrow.
Bob?
The candidates, first off, our state has a strong ticket all the way up and down the ballot. Our county has a strong ticket. These people are going to run their own races and be strong, and that's what candidates are going to have to do all across the country. There may not be a presidential coattail for them to ride in on.
Tony.
The Republican Party now consists of conservatives, Tea Party, and Trump Party. Right now, the Tea Party was supposed to be celebrating nominating their first presidential candidate. In fact, they're in scrambles, they're imploding, and guess what? The Trump Party is about to change their platforms for the rest of the time.
Wayno,
So
what
some
does
of
this
these
do?
Chamber of Commerce politicians need to pay attention to what folks in the country are saying.
Exactly.
Is being against bad trade deals conservative or liberal? I don't really know. Is being against people coming here illegally and committing crimes conservative or liberal? I don't know. But people are not listening to what the country is saying. They're not conservative, they're not liberal, they're just against or for certain things, and I don't think either party is figuring that out.
Jess, you work with incumbents and candidates
Yeah.
on the GOP side. Should they be worried?
No, they can run their own individual branded campaigns. It's going to be about the personality of each candidate. It'll be focused on policy and the issues that candidate's running on. It's also going to be focused on capability. One of the things about Donald Trump is people believe he can do the things he says he's going to do because he has had success in business and he's made a gazillion dollars that everybody thinks he has proven his case that he can go out there and fix the country. So if you have a proven record of success, that's going to be an important thing in this
15
election.
seconds.
I'm sorry, multiple bankruptcies don't is
Right.
a proven record of success. But I only wish that people were voting on these individual candidates. We know that most elections are decided by partisan politics, and unfortunately, they're going to fall prey to not having a strong candidate at the top of the ballot.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Up next, a segment we're calling Bones of Contention. Issues our panelists are itching to get their teeth into. What's your point? We'll be right back. Welcome back. Each week, a handful of red-hot issues emerge in our country and our community, which enrage, inspire, and often divide us. We call them bones of contention. The controversy continues over stripping the names off of HISD schools named after those who fought for the Confederacy. Turns out it's going to cost a considerable amount of money, $500,000 tax dollars at Lanier Middle School alone. Question: given the district's massive budget hole, should the board reconsider, or is it worth the expense? Panel, what's your point?
Worth the expense when the cost-benefit analysis is this: detriment to your child and the history of the school that they went to or are going to versus dollars. $500,000, they always find money for what they want. The taxpayers deserve to be able to go to school, and I don't recall them saying that this is going to be free. Everything costs something.
Wayne?
Okay, HISD Board is, by the way, disclosure, my great consulting firm, Dolcefino Consulting, of course, works with the Lanier parents, okay, and works with that neighborhood. In September, the school board changed their rules. They said, the school board's going to pick these political names now, and we're not going to let the neighborhoods pick their own school names. Folks in Dowling want to change their school, they have every right. Folks in Lanier want to keep their school, they should have every right. But when they voted, they're real a stickler about their rules and regulations, Greg. When they voted, on the document, it said zero cost. And 2 days before they voted, a school board member asked the superintendent, hey, have we figured out where we're going to pay, all right, what this is going to cost? And he said, well, we'll worry about that later. We'll figure it out later. That is a violation of the law, and I'm telling you.
Where's the document, Wayne?
Okay,
You
Tony.
cannot just throw that out
The key
there.
part is, are they going to name it after Dolores Huerta? Because if they are, then change it. Then change it.
Where's the
Yes.
document?
Greg, I've worked a lot of HISD races, and when you are out there campaigning for trustee, the number one issue that parents come to, and parents who care about their public school education for their children are some of the most ardent activists in these HISD campaigns. They say, are the dollars going to go into the classroom? Where is the urgency to change all these names right now? Are the dollars being spent the highest priority? Is the classroom taken care of already? Can we extrapolate this over a period of time and keep our promises to change the names, but extrapolate it when we have more of a rainy day fund?
Yeah, right. Whatever.
Sounds like never.
Wow.
It's never.
Yeah, whatever. I don't remember seeing these advocates, these parents coming up to fight for the schools that were closed in minority districts for absolutely no reason. I don't remember them coming to fight for the children who were having their schools depleted from their neighborhood. I didn't see them there. Nor do I remember them coming up to talk about the superintendent getting bonuses on his way out for doing a
When
piss
have you
poor. Stop
seen
talking.
Marcus?
Doing a
You're
piss
not
poor
out there in the
job.
trenches.
So yes, I
Did
have
they
been.
run for anything?
I'm sorry, sweetie.
No.
I'm out in the
Hold on,
trenches.
hold
Ask
on.
them. I'm there weekly.
Well,
All right,
parents
so
are
what
out
I'm
there
saying
too.
is they didn't step up when Terry Greer got money for doing absolutely nothing. So they're not that much of an advocate in the first place. So when we're talking about stripping names off of schools, you got to consider the skin that was stripped off the backs of the people who were my ancestors.
Since we're talking about name calling, don't call me sweetheart.
Okay, here we go. Moving on to another subject.
Sweet and Debbie, you don't do
A
that.
senior, very good student at Clear Springs High School says he's been shafted by his district out of the honor of being valedictorian. He says a classmate from a lower class was allowed to take online courses, and rules were bent and broken to allow her to leap in to the spot of valedictorian. It's a complex story. Anybody have some input?
I just saw that there was a legal argument that she had self-identified as an 11th grader. That is the word, the phrase now that I hear all the time. So I am self-identifying as the president of Dolcefino Consulting for the rest
I'm
of
going
the
to self-identify as a valedictorian then. That seems like what
I
she's
think that
doing.
this goes to the desperation that students feel to get into college, to get into these state schools, the type of scales that we put, the pressure that we put on our kids, that they're willing to look at anything to try to get ahead. And we have to evaluate how we're letting our Texans get into state schools at bare minimum.
So is this a shaft or not? What's the point?
Well, I think it's great that these students are so competitive with each other, and if the rules allow for what she did, then that's one thing. If they're twisting the rules to bend it to further some other kind of agenda, then somebody ought to take a look at that. But thank God these kids are being competitive and trying to be the best at what they can
Tony.
do.
Well, what people don't talk about is that sometimes parents plan for years to position their child to be valedictorian. I might be guilty of this. So I'm glad I can study someone else's game and see that's off the table. But now it's got me thinking.
Online courses.
Okay, real quick, in typical Trump fashion, Donald sent out a Cinco de Mayo tweet. He's eating a taco salad and says, I love Hispanics mending fences. What's your point?
As the British person on the panel, can I go first? So when you pander to Hispanics, it's Hispandering. And right now, I want all Latinos to remember not just what he said about our families, but check The Apprentice. I don't remember seeing too many Chicanos winning on The Apprentice back then. I tell you what, even Jeb Bush had the decency to marry a Latina. Look at all his ex-wives, not one Latina. And here's the last thing. When he hired undocumented and got busted, they were Polish, not Latino.
Ooh, happy Cinco de Mayo.
It's Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
It's a holiday. It's a fun holiday. He was having fun.
But that
you
wasn't
people
funny.
need to lighten up, because if you play this
Gotta
card
go.
too much,
Gotta go. When we come back, our soundbite of the week. Stay with us. Welcome back. In America, where we practice free speech, the team here on Watch Your Point scours the country for the most creative, insightful, and entertaining commentary in the land. Here's political pundit Ken Smuckler's riffs on Donald Trump's foreign policy speech and Bernie Sanders' prospects of a come-from-behind victory.
That speech was substantive only if the definition of the word substantive is opposite the definition of the word substantive. And it's Jacksonian only if by Jacksonian you're referring to Jackson as Tito, Marlon, Jackie, and Jermaine, who I am sure would have smucked up the pronunciation of a country like Tanzania, calling it Tanzania, which is insania for a presidential candidate running for president of the United States. Bernie Sanders says he knows how to count because he knows mathematics, which I am sure he probably learned somewhere between the phasing out of the abacus and the phasing in of the slide rule. Now Bernie says, Hillary, you're in for a big surprise because we're going to be at a contested convention this summer. Hey, memo to Bernie, the only contested convention that you're going to be in this summer is the convention that contests the presidency of the Royal Order of Elks, Lodge 1499 in Bridgeport.
What the smut?
I love it!
Guys, any thoughts? Wayne?
Bernie's the most honest guy running in the presidential election this year, number one. And number two, I've always wondered why Germany isn't paying us a whole bunch of money to keep all those troops there. He may be right.
Baba.
Hey, with a name like Smuckler's, it has to be good. I heard somebody say that earlier. So,
All I'm going to say is Bernie knew Betsy Ross. He actually sewed on. Star number 58.
This ageism.
Okay.
Hey, at least Bernie had the cojones to keep it going. He didn't.
He's still got to
unlike
fight.
Ted Cruz, he didn't drop out.
I'm just going to say again, Senator Cruz was a class act in his concession speech. At the end of the day, with this intelligent commentary, comedy that we had, it reminds a little bit of White House Correspondents' Dinner. Thought President Obama had a nice, final moment there. And Donald Trump's kids were asked what they thought about the president's remarks about him, and they took it all in good fun and said it was great comedy. So
She's very good for the GOP. She will always support whichever clown they have in the forefront.
I just want to say that my Democrat and non-Republican friends are very giddy about the prospect
And
of
Obama
this
drops the
general
mic.
election.
Well, you're
Wait
welcome.
until reality sets in.
Hold on, Marcus.
No, I just want to make a note, and I want to celebrate the fact that Jessica actually complimented President Obama on site, even though
She didn't mean to.
I wanted to say, I thought it was
Okay,
very
guys, gonna leave it right there. Gonna leave it right there. When we come back, perhaps our most valuable service as our panelists answer the question, what did we miss? Stick around. Welcome back. As smart as you are, as connected as you are, it is simply impossible to catch everything that should be squarely on your radar. That's why each week we lean on our panel for nuance and intel with the question, what did we miss? Jess.
Mayor Bill de Blasio is at it again, asking New Yorkers to boycott Chick-fil-A because he doesn't believe in their politics. Now, when conservatives and moms want to boycott Target because they're going to allow men and women's restrooms, those folks are ridiculed and belittled. This is the hypocrisy of the progressive left.
Yeah, well, I don't blame him because Chick-fil-A has a problem with liking anybody that is not white or Southern or Baptist. If you're black, if you're Latino, if you're
Gay.
a woman, if you're gay, if you're Muslim, they don't like you, so stop buying their chicken.
That's not fair.
Today
That's
is
not
Cinco
fair.
de Mayo. It's not fair, but I know for a fact. Today is Cinco de Mayo, and we're having a Trump pinata party at the Alley Cat Bar and Lounge, 3718 Main. Tony Diaz, take it over.
We are uniting to make Cinco de Mayo great again because guess what? This is celebrating presidents versus emperors. You know, Mexico doesn't win a lot of battles. So they won one against France because they had the ragtag army of Benito Juarez was a president, and they beat the French Imperial Army. We're uniting to beat the Trump Empire.
Right.
And we're going to open his mind today. So everyone can join us.
Hey, Tony, 0-2 against the USA.
In the gift that keeps on giving, former gubernatorial candidate Wendy Davis took to Twitter yesterday to say she couldn't stop laughing about this abortion joke that someone else had tweeted, where they said that Ted Cruz should have been forced to carry his campaign full term.
Oh, wow.
I think that was in poor taste. I didn't read the tweet. But in better news, Janet Jackson's going to actually have her baby.
There you go.
So, and she's almost 50. There's hope.
having a baby.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to be political. There are a bunch of elections, from the Katy ISD School Board to the ESD elections, where there's lots of controversy, to mud boards. There's all kinds of folks supposed to be voting Saturday. Don't vote, then don't whine.
Thanks, Wayno. That's all the time we have. Thanks to our panelists. And remember to join us every Thursday for What's Your Point?